Hello, lovely listeners or viewers. If you are checking this out on our YouTube channel, we will actually drop the link to the YouTube channel. We've had a few of you get in touch and ask how to find it, so I'll make sure that is in the show notes. But today I wanted to share with you a story of something that happened last week. I went to the gym and it's got this like fancy new machine where you can basically step on it and it tells you all kinds of data and information about yourself, your body, all of this like fun stuff, 50% of which I didn't know what meant, but some of it I did. And we got to the point where my trainer said to me, okay, this is the number of calories that you can eat every day as your base rate if you don't do anything. I think it was like 1,371. I am quite good, weirdly good at remembering numbers. So anyway, she said, I can help you with that if you want help with the nutrition, with calorie tracking. Do you have an Apple Watch? And started going into like all the ways I could track what I'm eating, track what I'm consuming, track calories in, calories out, all of that stuff. And I just smiled and looked at her and said, no thanks. And the reason I said no thanks is because I have done this in the past. I have used an app where I input every single thing that I ate and it calculated the calories, the fats, the protein, all of that stuff. All the information was vitally tracked for me. And what this actually created for me was more time spent thinking about food, more time spent calorie counting, looking at the backs of things, like stepping away from like all the rules that I knew and starting to think like, oh, actually I could have a chocolate bar today because I've got the calories left. And so the reason why I just knew that it was a clear no is because I've tried it in the past. And yes, information is useful, but you want to be thinking about information in terms of like the minimal amount of effort from you, the minimal amount of brain space from you in the arena that you least want to be in. So if I know, for example, that I want to lose weight, one way to do that could be to track and measure out every single thing that I eat every single day according to this number, which, by the way, changes if I do any kind of exercise and changes if I do any kind of walking or yoga or working out at the gym, doing weights or whatever it might be. So it's constantly changing, which means that it's not even like, oh, I just know what I can just eat every single day. Every single day is still different. And especially as women, every single day is definitely different in terms of what's going on internally in our bodies. I think that's probably true for all of us, to be honest. So this idea of this like fixed number of calories that I can measure up against every day, in reality, what it's created for me in the past is more time spent thinking about food, obsessing about food, measuring food. If I'm honest, more like cheats and little hacks around like, oh, I can eat a chocolate bar if I don't eat dinner. In fact, when I first met my husband, I didn't used to eat proper meals. I used to eat lots and lots of snacks, which meant that I was like definitely below the calorie amount that I wanted, but also meant that I was basically eating constantly throughout the day. So why am I sharing all this with you? What does this have to do with time hacking? Well, essentially, this is what I see as the issue with time tracking. Time tracking is blowing up as an industry, and everybody's talking about tracking your time and using these softwares and these apps. I actually spoke with someone at a company the other day who confessed to me that at the end of every month, the day it was due, she spent like an hour going through and essentially making up the work that she'd done for the month because she had to hand it in. Someone had to see it. How she'd been using her time. So that's one way, that's the manual way, which is in itself just a complete waste of time. And you can see for the company, it's not actually producing valuable data. It's producing like an hour spent on thinking about making up how she'd spent her time. But even if you have an automated tracker, which they do exist out there, I want you to think about what it's creating for you. Like, how much time are you then spending thinking about how you are using your time? And time you spend thinking about how you are using your time keeps you further in or further away from the things that you do that actually move the needle forward on what you want to create, whether that's like a project you're working on, a promotion you want to get, whatever it might be. When you are looking at time, when you are measuring time, when you are counting minutes and uploading tasks and organizing tasks and color coding tasks or whatever it might be, that's all time spent away from the needle movers. That's all time spent away from productive work. This is why we are busy and not necessarily productive. And you've heard me compare the diet and the food industry before in terms of, there's 1,000 plans for both of them. And if any of them really work, we would just do that one. But really, and also the similar marketing and the and the platter hopping, and this one's, the 5 a.m. club's really going to work for me, or the Pomodoro method, 20 minutes on, 5 minutes off is really going to work for me, or, deep focus work in the morning is really going to work for me, or whatever it might be. We have so many different plans that we're just jumping around. And that's what I've seen in the diet industry. I've spoken about that before, but today I really want to speak about the tracking and what that actually creates. What it creates in reality is actually more time anxiety, more time stress, more busyness, more feelings of we're not doing enough, we're not far enough along, we should be able to do more, we aren't as productive as we like, because we are spending so much time thinking about and tracking how we are using our time, which is not a needle mover, which is not an impact driven activity. So it's the same thing, right? I could go to this trainer offered to write me a nutrition plan and tell me what to eat and help me calorie count. I can do all of those things if I want to lose weight. Or I know personally what works for me is fasting in the morning. And this is what's worked for me in the past. I don't know if it's what would work for me now. I'm not trying to lose weight now, but is fasting in the morning, having 2 big meals and maybe a snack between those meals, not eating chocolate except maybe on the weekends, and working out and doing yoga. So it's much simpler. Think about how much time and energy is given to tracking every single thing I eat in a day, inputting all my exercise and movement for the day, and having it calculate what I do and don't do, especially at the end of the day when you might be getting close to having to make decisions around what you have left, versus I actually pretty much get to eat what I want as long as I eat first at between 11 and 12, and then eat my dinner, all finished before 7 o'clock, have one snack in the afternoon that's healthy-ish, right? We know what's healthy-ish. Maybe I'm going to have hummus and crackers, or, apple and peanut butter, or I don't know, whatever I fancy. I'm trying to remember what I used to do when I was trying to lose weight, but I know what was good for my body, and it was very simple, and it meant, I actually got hungry and I ate when I was hungry. I wasn't thinking about food outside of when I was eating, because it was very obvious. I decided when I was going to eat. And it just created so much more space to be present in my life, be present in my work, be present in my relationships, and be present for myself. And that's what I want to create for you all around time. This is why we don't teach time tracking and calendaring as part of time hacking. Time hacking is literally about creating those simple frameworks, those simple rules, that simple understanding, doing, the 80-20 rule. It's about doing the 20% and letting everything else go. What are the needle movers? What are the impact-led activities that we can do? And what happens if we just do them? And sure, maybe I eat 100 extra calories than I'm supposed to every day, and maybe it takes another month to lose the weight if this is something that I was aspiring to do. But actually, every single day I get to be present. Every single day I get to be connected. Every single day I get to give my mental energy intentionally to what I want to give it to. And by the way, this actually creates faster results, because what we've created is something sustainable. What we've created is a life outside of thinking about food or our never-ending to-do list. And that allows us to create unparalleled focus on the work that we are doing, which automatically increases its quality and automatically increases its impact. And that is essentially time hacking. So that is why we do not time track. And if you are thinking about tracking your time, I strongly encourage you not to. Now, when you join our Time Hackers one-to-one coaching program, you will get a time audit. Or if your company or you and your company decide to bring us on board to go through a coaching program, the Time Hackers coaching program for your team, you will get a time audit. This is unlike any time audit you are seeing out there, because it's focused on and around your number one time tool, your brain. The reason why you get to 4 p.m. and start eating chocolate, or maybe that's just me, or the reason you get to 4 p.m. and you've not achieved what you wanted for the day, or you're still scrolling social media when you promised that you were going to not check it's all afternoon is not because of the plan or the tracking. Like, the tracking is no match for the power of your brain. And that's why everything we do centers around the brain as your number one time tool. It's also for sure your number one health tool when it comes to food you are eating and exercise you are doing. But all to say, if you want access to the time audit that actually fuels you with the right information to make it easier for you to achieve more in less time, without longer hours, without burning out, then we invite you to book your one-to-one Time Hacker coaching package. It's 6 sessions for £600 right now. We've made it really accessible on purpose. We're confident that you'll achieve more in that 6 weeks than you have in the previous 6 months, with time boxing, with calendaring, with time tracking, with spending all your time in the weeds of never-ending to-do lists and tasks that you should be doing and inboxes that you are managing, all of that good stuff. Like, let's laser focus on the one thing that will create the highest returns on your time invested, your brain. It's the ultimate time hack. You can go to bit.ly/Time Hacker Coaching, I think, but we will make sure that we leave the full link inside the show notes. And also, they're always in my Instagram @FeministTimeCoach. And you can also always just email us for links, team@VickyLouise.com. I hope today the one thing that you take away from this is that you don't have to be tracking your time meticulously, and how time tracking meticulously might be the biggest time suck of all. It's a time suck, it's a confidence suck, it's an energy suck, and it's all taking away from your own brilliance, from your own knowing, and from your ability to achieve more this week. All right, that's it from me. Bye.